G'day, it's John Gallas here, New Zealand poet. This is a short video to introduce my new book, due out from Carcanet in spring, a collection of 64 love poems called The Extasie. Me and my writing. I've reached, I think, 24 books now, mostly Carcanet, also Cold Harbour, New Zealand, Indigo Dreams, Five Leaves, Agraphia, Cerasus, and Magpie Press. 3 of the books are translatings, all Carcanet, the Song Atlas, €52, and due out in 2022, Petrus Borel's Rhapsodies. I'm a Fellow of the English Association, librettist for an Alistair Nicholson opera and a David Knotts cantata. I'm the volunteer poet for the Saxon Ship Project, the rebuilding of the Saxon ship at Sutton Hoo, and St Magnus Festival Orkney poet. At the moment, I'm busy with a collection called 19 Paper Resurrections, based on graveyards, gravestones, memorials in mid-Wales, where I go every year. I'm also working on some versions of Persian medieval poems and planning a very long Wordsworth prelude-type poem about my young days in New Zealand. Favourite place to work? An interesting one, and the answer is probably the saddle of my bike, with my little legs pedalling on and on and on across the flats of Lincolnshire. This is where I find most of my poems form, and it's simply a matter of remembering them, sometimes easier said than done, by the time I get back to paper and pen. So most of my manuscripts look as if things come easily, but they don't. When poems need just some grinding hard work, especially the translations, I have this little study here, which I'm in at the moment, which looks out on one massive pine tree, happily usually filled with ravens. The last book that blew me away. Well, as a book, that was Njarl's Saga, translated by Magnusson and Paulson. A absolutely perfect, cool, objective, compulsive, and funny book that makes not one wrong step and manages to combine wonderful style with tremendous violence. As an event, it was probably the reading of Not I by Beckett by Lisa Dwan. And as a listening experience, as an audio book during those long lockdown walks, Our Mutual Friend, read by the amazing Stacey Newman. Making the selection of poems for the book. This was easy because it isn't a selection, it's a series in the order that they were written on the same topic, which is love, and all done by the bike ride method described. The only problem really was stopping, and for that I used Beckett's Begin and Stop from Krapp's last tape. Job done. A little bit to finish about the book itself. It's 20 years of love poetry, although I did a lot of other things in between. Not so much a progress or a bumpy road, but a celebration in 64 different forms. I've always thought of John Donne as the master of love poetry, obviously his own genius, but also the fact that the English language seemed to be at its creamy best in his time. So the title is for him. And there are lots of his influences obvious in the poems. But biking about while thinking up these intense things makes for a gentle Lincolnshire landscape to drape around the unchanging, wonderful, central feeling. I hope you enjoy it. The Sandals of TE Lawrence. A wormy dream time bade me rise and go. I rose and went. Sure enough, they were there. The sandals of Mr. Lawrence, slap flat on the fuzzy floor of an acrylic wardrobe, dusted as windle straw. I glided forth and hooked on my Fendies. Ha! Just what I saw in my sleep. A hammock for the heel, a strap for the dorsum, a thong for the halluxian interstice. The foot, of course, dead as a mummy. Small blue and yellow quadratures decorate the wider leatherings. Or did I imagine that? I don't remember. I hurried home, thrice comforted. That night, co-sinuous as spoons, we dropped off together, and I did not think of the mysteries of the world. Let them be mysteries, and make us smile. Unshape the ship, and close your eyes. We'll sail into the fond moonshine, and I will hold your feet on mine. You will do for all that means to me. Sleep now, and let us see what we shall see. Looking into British Library Manuscript 2711, Egerton, Sir Thomas Wyatt Notebook. If I understand your dapper hand, you pine for love. Though nothing new, it's woven well. I lean and look. My fever here, I see, shuttled back to me from the loom thread of your book. I leave on the looking glass a butter film reflected of my brother brow. Tonight, in the lowered library light, we will spin a tale upon a sigh, Sir Thomas and I. The Bearded Angels of North Creek Church. You're in the English elongated style, late and horizontal, like these, lean, wood white, and leaning down from the creaking hammer roof. There's a wind outside where the new daffodils slap, but here, in quietness, I walk the aisle, holding a mirror like a tray of light. And looking in, they pass above. Some with music, some with beards, watching in this high, dark shell the hushed procession of my bones. I stop, the windows rattle, then return, steady as a waiter. I put the mirror back. Cold wind shakes the door, and I leave this wooden heaven for a skimble of trees. Inside, the mirror develops. In its silver plate and pool, a picture of my passing. The angels sharpening and still, inclining me in your fashion to endure. The air between. Sometimes we part perforce. I drive away to some unlovely lot, some fallow land that isn't you, and you to nod or no man's land, and all the air between. I stop at Prickwillow. From here to you is just 100 miles. The little lark laps slow as Sunday, all the world to round again. I eat an apple in the dark and rattle on. Faster than the lick of light, the boffins say, the universe expands and I believe them. Ah, love, I feel it now, tonight. They know. At Shingle Street, exhilaration warps above the sea. And so you see, by relativity, we approach each other while we part, impetuous, inevitable, like small sweet moons upon the backs of worlds, which we to each other